welcome back to another episode, a thrilling one at that, for German Custom Bricks. And today is the review video of this finished kit, finally, that I wound up still making some last minute changes here this morning, but now it's actually done. So now you get your first real look at it, the entire plane finished. And we'll just go over some stuff like right this second. So right to it. So as usual, as with everything, spinning propellers, no big deal, rolling wheels. There's an interesting tricycle landing gear on here, which we'll get to in just a bit. But let's get into some of the details. Is the cockpit canopy. Now, actually, this table is actually not on a level surface, so it's actually kind of tipped backwards. So that's why grabbing the canopy kind of kind of tipped back that way. But in any case, canopy opens up and you can fit two minifigs in there, your pilot and co-pilot. And I just have a pilot in right now. There are some stickers in there. I'm just kind of working around this camera here, so I'm going to try and just pick this up and grab it so you can see it. So the stickers are in here with showing the controls on both sides, as well as there's a panel right here. This panel that's kind of in the air, if you can kind of see that right there sideways, there's a bunch of gauges on it, and that's part of it. So when you flip that down, this pilot knows exactly what he's doing, exactly where he's going. So let's see here. Yeah, I'll do it this way. I see if you could see it. But anyway, this is the tricycle landing gear, kept about as accurate to what it actually looks like on the real thing. So came out really, really good. I just put stickers on this. I have been working on seeing if I can get an outfit. I'm kind of one in Great Britain and one in the States I'm looking at, and sent some emails off. Hadn't got a response just yet, but we're seeing about getting printed tiles here with all the markings and stuff on it, all the insignia. There is the yellow that's painted nose. I did find some photographs of one that actually had yellow painted on the nose, where normally yellow is used in other markings and stuff. Like, for instance, under the wing here, with the Balkenkreuz and the E. I'm not sure exactly what the letter E is, but it's there. It's on there, kind of thing. So there, it's part of that. And of course, the wings have the Balkenkreuz on it. That's pretty kind of big. And the standard Hakenkreuz, which gives it that little extra bit of realism as you're flying your transport plane in World War II. So just a quick background on history before we get into some of the other funky features on this thing is this plane was actually designed to take over from this one, the DFS 230, and because this plane was actually more stable, had a more it was better handling. Overall, it was just a better design. I can't say much for the engines, though, because that was one of the complaints, is that it was underpowered, and it was vulnerable to ground fire. I mean, this was only a tubular steel frame in there, and actually, that's one of the things you can kind of see in back here. If you can see those two kind of cross members back there, well, that's just kind of a little bit to give it that realistic look, and that with steel tubing in there. But it was a doped fabric over top, so in other words, to make it pretty rigid, and it could handle, some air stresses and that sort of thing. It was okay, good for that. But it was vulnerable to ground fire, and it wound up being relegated to the back lines, or behind the lines, just because of its vulnerability. But it was a good transport aircraft. But it was because they had so many French engines, they used the Gnome radial engines that were captured from the French, and they were actually underpowered for this thing. So the other play feature on here, of course, which is a real feature, is the hatch opens up so you can get into the back area. Now, I did something really neat with this one. This is actually a bonus play feature I thought was pretty cool to add. Of course, the real aircraft doesn't do this, but we're gonna do this here. Let me just get that, straighten that back out. Fabric. But anyway, this is a cool feature where you can actually just flip up the boom arms, and now you got easy access. Because I noticed if you're using this plane or moving it around, or trying to get in there, you got to kind of reach underneath the boom arms here and the rear aileron, and it's very difficult to do that. So I just included this little play feature where you can flip the boom arms up, and now you have easy access to the back. And speaking of the back, so this is what you can do with it. Couple of ramps and that with it. You can set those up. And then, of course, you got to load some stuff in there. So this was meant as a small transport plane, so you could bring a Kugelwagen. Now, this is my Kugelwagen design. And then you could just, well, mind you, I don't have it really anything set. These were last minute. This is a last minute detail here, so I just grabbed a couple of tiles. But if you get it, you can actually roll your Kugelwagen up into the back here, and that. So then you can fly it off to wherever you need to. What they would do, and then they would just throw the ramps inside to go with it. You know, and like with this, you can flip the boom arms back down, and then of course close the hatch. And there she is. She's all locked and loaded for wherever your destination is, so you can take off. Another thing too, oops, watch the wings there, is the doors on the side. So it does have a couple of man doors, one on each side, and they do open for each. Now this is actually the B4 model. So actually, here I can actually grab this. Then you can kind of see it in the back there. You can actually see the Kugelwagen in there. There it is. So it's kind of in there. So there is a door on each side, and this is for easy access for loading paratroopers in there, or Fallschirmjäger, which is what the German paratroopers are, or were. But they wound up phasing this one out eventually too, in favor of the ME323, which is 2 models from now. That's the big monster one, and that thing is huge. Like this wingspan here is just over 2 feet long, so it's a good size aircraft. And what wound up happening is because of its vulnerabilities and underpowered engines, this was kind of overtaken again by the Ju-52, which was the common and most relied upon German transport plane. And then the ME323 was the monster one, which could transport tanks and such to get them wherever they needed to go. So this was just a small transport plane. They would evacuate wounded. These particular markings, this is for the 106. What would they call that again? I forgot. But anyway, this would be... this was at the Battle of Stalingrad, so they were ferrying troops in and out, wounded troops out, and fresh troops in, that sort of thing, as it was progressing. But when the Stalingrad fell, then they used these also as part of the relief effort to keep Stalingrad supplied. So that's pretty much the lowdown of the kit. I mean, it's just a really cool plane, and I haven't seen anyone do this one out there. Not saying nobody hasn't, because I don't know everything, but from what I've seen, nobody's ever done this plane in Lego before. So I thought, hey, that's a pretty cool transport plane. So, and actually, I think it really is a pretty cool transport plane, and to have it done in Lego is even better. So there was one other feature too, which it's going to come with. Now, it doesn't come with the Kugelwagen, but if that's something that you want, the best thing that works best is if you open the hatch first and then flip up the boom arms, and then that works the best. And then of course we can take out our Kugelwagen here. Just get these ramps out of the way. And another thing is, I brought some volunteers in. They weren't drafted or anything, but these fellows here are going to demonstrate the other feature, which is keeping troops all supplied. Now we got a good array of guys here. Some winter guys. I got a mechanic here, some tank crewmen here, some Africa Corps members, and even Erwin Rommel here at the very end. And that I got that from Brick Mania. I think this is their first Erwin Rommel that they did. So I don't know if you can see that one. And that, I thought it was pretty good. And that is actually a Brick Forge cap, not the one that it came with. I didn't like the caps that they came with. I thought these ones looked much better, a little more realistic than the ones that it came with. So I changed those out. But anyway, so let's put these in, because it's actually very simple. There's actually a 2-point connection on the back of the second seat, so you can kind of reach in there. And I just got to get the right spot and push it in there. And it'll snap in there like that. Get the other guys in there. Now this actually fits 12 guys in here. Just make sure I got this lion lip right. Sorry, just working around the camera again. So stay tuned. I'm going to get this guy in there somewhere. There he is. All right, so there's our guys in there. So they're ready for action. Here, I'll lift her up here. You can kind of get a better look. You can see right through the front there and right through the canopy, and that's exactly how the real one is. You can actually see right through to the front, and these boys can all, they don't jump out of this plane, so they actually have to land. It's to ferry troops straight in, and they land this glider. It is not like the Ju-52 was used by the Fallschirmjäger to drop paratroopers in. So, but this one is not meant for that. It's actually meant to land and drop off supplies and such. So that is the plane. So I think, and it was still used till the end of the war, and it was a very good design. The pilots liked it. It was a very good in handling, but it was just those underpowered engines, those French engines. Man, those French get you always in the end, eh? It's going to go up for pre-order on Wednesday, 12 noon Central Standard Time. Parts count, it's over 1,500 parts, so it's a good-sized kit. This is the Gotha 244B-4 motorized transport glider. And that will do it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and we will catch you next time. Bye for now.